Hello, beautiful people. How are you today out there in YouTube and Facebook land? Hope you guys are having a cool Sunday. I thought it was going to be cool here in Houston, but apparently not. It's still kind of hot, but not too bad. But anyway, I'm not the weather girl, so I won't give y'all the weather report. If it's Sunday, it must be the Demetra Kaye show. I want to welcome you all to the show. We're going to have a light conversation. Of course, we can talk about whatever you want, but I saw something trend. Well, I wasn't trending. I just saw it on my Facebook. So I decided to talk about it. And we talked about Haiti on last Friday. And we could talk about it a little bit today. But it's just going to make me mad. And I don't have the energy to get mad. So we'll see. So anyway, hello, everybody. Also like to say thank you to Donovan, Sadiq, the recovering Democrat, for all that he does and helping me co-host the show. Also like to say thank you to Marcus Guyton for doing everything that he does behind the scenes on Facebook to make the show go further. And of course to YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. You guys aren't just viewers, but you are participants. I would say this is probably the only show that reads each and every comment because we feel like you all should be included in the conversation as well. So thank you for that. On the Demetra Kaye show, we like to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even. Now, again, last Friday, I was under the weather, and I'm still under the weather a little bit. I'm getting much better. So I may have Donovan kind of pinch hit again for me, pick up reading some of the comments as well. Not all like he did. Thank you to him for that, but some of them. So anyway, let me say hello to everybody before I give it to you, Donovan, just to get it going. And Monet, how you doing? Anais, Eli, Robin, Thunder. Who else is on here? TJ, how you doing? And Pamela and the Pioneer, what's going on? Thank you for checking up on me. I appreciate that. You said good to see you're feeling better, sis. At least I hope you're feeling better. Just a little bit. It's coming and going. Yeah, I'm going to save my voice. Thank you. So anyway, Donovan, what say you before we go ahead and get started?
What say me is I am still in the DR. What are the chances that the government shuts down the borders and says nobody can enter or leave the United States and I'm stuck in the DR? What are the chances of that? Lord, please, 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 please. But anyway, welcome to the Demetra Kaye show. We are happy to have you guys. If it's Sunday, it's Demetra Kaye. So again, Eli Nye has a birthday today. So happy birthday. And
yes.
Happy birthday to everybody has a birthday today because my father, wherever he may be, happy birthday, Dad.
What you mean whether he may be? You looked up and down.
I don't know if he's in heaven. I don't know if he's in the other spot. I have no idea.
You know what? I'm not even going to touch that.
According to my mom,
I'm not even going to touch that, okay? So anyway, yeah, thank y'all for your well wishes. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm doing much better, just trying to take it easy. So anyway, let's get to it. Yeah, Pioneer, you know, like with the situation in Haiti, let me just touch on it really quick before we get into our main topic. Okay, so as you guys know, we have about 14,000 or so Haitians that have converged on the United States via the South American border. They have come to Del Rio, Texas, and they are under a bridge. They got camps, makeshift camps and stuff like that. And the United States authorities, whether it's Border Patrol and all the other entities, they are like, oh my God, we don't know what to do, right? And so they being the Biden administration, has planned to send them back, starting with like 8 flights per week. And then they're going to ramp it up to 10, those big aircraft carriers, to send them all back. Now, they revoked the Trump migration policy in that they should send them back type of thing, right? But you guys also remember Trump called Black countries or African countries shithole countries. And so, again, that's the Biden administration now leaning on the Trump policies to deal with the Haitians. But don't you be fooled. Don't be fooled at all. America is now and has brought almost 200,000 Afghans, if not more, over here due to the Taliban taking over. You guys remember a month ago when all the Afghans were on the tarmac and they were hanging on the plane, falling off and all of that? The United States has ushered them in, and they tell you now that they can't afford, they don't know how to deal with 14,000 Haitians that have come over here, so they have to send them back. But somehow they're finding a way to deal with 200,000 Afghans, you know, setting them up with housing and giving them money and just a whole host of things, right? But yet They want you, now maybe not y'all, but some people out there who voted for the Democrats, Joe Biden, and they want y'all to fall for the okie doke. But I want to say this, and this is why I really want to talk about it, because I don't want to get mad. It makes me really angry that, for one, they continue to thumb their nose at Black people, the very people that help them get into office and continuously help them to get into office. I don't care what it is, city council, dog catcher, whatever it is. Black people help them get in an office, and they don't even pretend that they want to do anything for Black people here, there, or anywhere, right? They just don't care. And Joe Biden has showed us over and over again that Black people mean nothing more to him than a damn vote. That's it. And so we can beat this up for the next hour and a half, but I would rather not, because the solution is, and we talk about it all the time, is to either form our own party or hold the vote until we get something else. There's a lot of Negroes out there that beat up Ice Cube and a whole bunch of people. And I'm going to throw myself in there because I got beat up as well. Donovan got beat up as well. A lot of y'all got beat up as well. When I say beat up, I mean on social media, family members, different people. When you say, hey, you know what, Joe Biden is not for Black people, they argue to the death with you. And now those Negroes, I wanted to call them the other N-word, but I'm not going to do that. Now those Negroes are nowhere to be found. I'm so mad. Honestly, I want to tag some of them in a post and say, where are you now? Because during the election season, if I said something about Joe Biden, you jumped on with all you had to defend him and tell me how horrible of a person I was, and I must be a Trump supporter and this, that, and the other. And now you are quiet as a church house mouse. You have nothing to say about that man and that woman, and y'all know who that woman is Kamala Harris. None of the Negro leaders have said anything about what has gone on with the Haitians. Nothing. But they're putting on their cape for the Afghans. And I'm not saying they should endure the stuff they were enduring, but help the Haitians too, right? But what the United States is not telling people is that they are complicit in what's going on with the Afghans and what's going on with Haiti. I went onto the state website to look at the relations between Haiti and the United States, and they said, well, you know, they're getting better, it's improving, and this, and the jobs, but they don't tell you that the jobs that they created over there for the Haitians were in the retail industry and in the coal mines. It sounds like slavery to me. That ain't gonna help them build their country, but nevertheless, needless to say, okay, you all, not y'all, but them, keep voting for those wretched people being the lying liberals. And Malcolm told us about them so many years ago. And I know somebody's probably thinking, well, what about the Republicans? We know the Republicans shtick. We know they don't like Black people. We know that they are always going to do for themselves, whatever, great. But the Democrats keep coming to Black people and lying and saying, well, if you just vote for me, and now they don't even lie and say they're going to do something for Black people. They just get up and get Jim Clyburn and all the other Negro leaders and get Black people on board so your Black asses can get in line and do the two-step and the electric slide to Kentucky Fried Chicken dinners and all of that. And then here we are, worse off than we've ever been, even in the 1960s. You know why? Because in the 1960s, at least we were unified. At least we were on the same page to try to get something. At least we said, all right, we're going to shut down the bus system in order to send a message. But we were not on the same page anymore. We have such a schism in our community to where they do things in our faces and we are just dumb to it. We are willingly dumb to it. So again, we probably should spend the next hour and a half talking about this, but for what? For what? Let's talk about something, you know, it's going to be helpful as well. I'm not saying it's not, but I think the solution is, and I've said this a million times, the solution is each one teach one. Reach out to somebody that you're going to talk to or you live with or you're going to work with in the next 24 hours and impart wisdom. Do it with love and say, this is what's going on and this is what needs to go on if Black people are going to do better. And we better get on the same page and stop voting for these damn Democrats that do nothing for Black people at all. I don't care if they white, they Black, they green, they yellow, whatever they are. Stop voting for those people until they do something for us. And then let me say this. The midterm elections are coming. That's a great way to send a message to let them know, if you even think we're going to vote for you in 2024, you got another thing coming, because we don't care if a Republican come up in there, if the KKK come up in there. We don't care who comes up in there, because you know why? Ain't neither one of y'all doing nothing for Black people. So we need to start sending a message. Hold the vote until we get something for it.
And just before we get to the comments, let me just add this. I'm glad you read everything that I wrote down for you perfectly. You did that great. I'm the best teacher she's ever had, right, you guys? So anyway, no, but here's the thing, Demetra. Wouldn't it be nice if the Haitians had a voice that can speak for them, a voice in Congress that will represent them? Where did you say that encampment is? In Del Rio, Texas? Wouldn't that be nice if there was some kind of representative that was like them, that can speak for them? Sheila Jackson Lee is what? Haitian. The White House Communications Director, Jean Paul, whatever that chick is, the gay chick. What is she? Haitian. Roly Poly Martin. He's of what descent? Haitian. Notice they don't even cape for their own freaking people. That's the playbook. Wanted you guys to be aware of that. So don't sit there and think that they don't have representation in this country. They do. But Black politicians ain't shit.
Y'all heard it there. All right. So let me get to y'all comments really quick, and then I'm going to transition into what I really wanted to talk about. Brother Samuel says, you're a good looking sick. Oh, well, thank you. Pamela says, I hope that cat is doing I think you made it well, Donovan. And guys, if you're in Facebook groups and you want me to read your comments, come on over. Click on the link and come over. I would love to do that. Pioneer says, yeah, the situation down in the border has me heated. The racism and injustice is so obvious, but that's got me more heated. That's got me more heated is the inaction of so many Black people. Where are the protests? Hi, Donna. How are you? And King of, no, I hope I'm saying it racist, of course. And how you doing? Pioneer says, bring your huddled masses, quote unquote, as long as they're huddled together with light skin and straight hair. What? Thunder, you say, isn't Sheila Jackson Lee from an immigrant family, and it's Roland Haitian, and this is his Texas, both of their Texas home, absolutely. And King of No says 14,000 versus 200,000. Something is wrong here. Well, they know that we not going to bust a grape. And the Pioneer says, like Neely Fuller Jr. said, white supremacy takes all sides of an argument. Soon as one racist leaves office, another one will get in to maintain their policies. Yep. And Robert says, and how you doing, by the way? Nobody seems to care that these refugees are living off our tax dollars. And Anita says, greetings, everyone, because they are not the preferred buffer class. Yes, indeed. And Marcus, how you doing? He said, you got to remember there is also footage of Joe Biden explaining if Haiti went under a few feet more, they would no longer exist, in his explanation of the refusal to be conquered by killing so many Europeans in order to remain a free country. Yeah, we actually played that video last Friday. Yes, he did say that. He says, whatever. Hey, Frank, how you doing? And Monet, he says, I've been holding my voice since I was born. I'm not registered to vote and just don't. Okay. And Robert says, sure did. And King of No says, yep, tagged them. I really feel like tagging them. And Frank says, can't get enough of this show. I appreciate you. And One Who Cares, you says, greetings, Demetra and Donovan. And same to you. And King of No says, make them account for it if they were doing that during the election. Oh, yeah, I feel like it. In fact, not feelings. How you doing? He says, hey, fam, peace and love. And the Pioneer says, I say form our own party, holding our vote. Many work for certain local elections, but Black people don't make up enough of the population for it to be effective in national elections. But it will send a message, right? And Brother Samuel says, save your energy, D, until you are completely recovered. However, you are absolutely right. I appreciate it. I know I'm gonna tap out in a minute, so I'm gonna hand it over to Donovan shortly, because I know he'll have a lot to say about this next topic. And Frank says, you see how they did those immigrants? Damn. And yes, hello to you as well. And he says, living you. And then Pioneer says, you don't sound sick to me. You sound as strong as you've been. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I'm a trooper. I'm one of those people. I keep it pushing as much as I can, even though. And in fact, my feeling says so true. And Frank says the 60s was the last era of being on code. Yep. Pioneer says, problem is you can't get on code with sellouts. They have their own code, which is making some money for themselves. Screw the collective. Absolutely. Thunder says, John Lewis protested for the Latinos by sitting down on the floor of the House, and the CBC was with him. And I passed him. I'm sorry. Yes, I know he passed on illustrating a point. Well, just because he's gone doesn't mean we shouldn't keep it real, right?
And show his record. And when I did that on John Lewis, all the Biden supporters jumped on me. How dare you? I'm just showing his public record.
Mm-hmm. Robin says, that's right. And Thunder says, hold the vote. And Carmen, how you doing? And Sunlight, how you doing? In fact, Not Feeling says, it's disgusting to see how Blacks in leadership are indifferent to the suffering of other Blacks. Yeah, they grease in their pockets. And Anita says, they don't yet. And TJ says, no Black agenda, no Black vote, Black first. Absolutely. And Frank says, where's Sheila Jackson Lee? I don't know. Inquirer minds want to know. And Joa 44, how you doing? You say the Haitians have a representative, but she isn't saying a word about them being deported. Nope. And Frank says they are rainbow and white first. And Robin, you also say the Haitians do have a voice. All these Haitian immigrants that's already here can speak out, but they are silent. Yeah, they don't want them to mess up their gravy train, right? And Tahari, how you doing? Says, where are the Haitian Americans? And Deadshot, how you doing? The Pioneer says, Brother Don, I don't think Sheila Jackson Lee is Haitian. She's American with parents from Jamaica. If we call Trump an American instead of German like his parents, why not let Black folks be American?
Well, Sheila Jackson Lee, I believe, immigrated from Haiti with her family. So I do believe she is Haitian.
Well, we can double check. And then Thunder says they needed help to fly the Afghanistan refugees out, but somehow they found extra planes to fly back to Haitian immigrants immediately. Screw them. Right. Immediately. Okay. And the Pioneer, you say, same.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, we got to save tax dollars. By using those planes to fly the Afghans in, you use the exact same planes to get the Negroes out.
Wow. Pioneer says, same with Roland Martin. I think only one of his grandparents are a Haitian, and anti-Black immigrant Black folks are labeling him Haitian out of hatred. Okay. Thunder says Sheila Jackson Lee has been there since 1995. I asked, what the hell has she done? Her district looks the same as it did in 1995. The only upgrades that are happening right now is gentrification. Yes, indeed. And I've been in some of those districts, and it's like, wow.
Yeah. Well, Thunder, obviously you haven't been keeping up on my girl, Sheila Jackson Lee. Every 2 years, she comes out with her water bottles and distributes water to the local population.
Okay. Moni, how you doing? It says 626. Good evening to you, Demetra, and my sexy Donovan. Much Detroit love to you always. Say hello to the Pioneer. And Robin says, Donovan, you are crazy doing the Sheila Jubilee. The Harry says, to be fair, the Biden administration has repatriated people back to South American countries also. Yeah, but you guys have got to remember, they opened up the borders. They being, Kamala and Joe Biden, then they had to send Kamala to the borders to say, don't come here no more, after they had gotten rid of Trump's policies and stopped the building of the wall. And, to the point to where Kamala, made a whole lot of gas, and they just took her off from speaking. Because y'all remember when the guy, Lester Holmes, I think it was, I could be wrong, asked her, well, why haven't you gone to the South American border? And she goes, well, I haven't been to Europe either. And they was like, okay, you need to come up off it, sister. And so...
Well, actually, they also said that with all the reversals of the Trump policies, one of the areas that he did not reverse was the immigration policy. That is
right.
still
He kept Trump's
other than the wall.
Yeah. He's using the Trump's immigration policy to send the Haitians back. All right. And so let me get to the last comments before I transition. And Pioneer says, let's be real. Do we really care about the poor Haitians down in the Texas border, or is it just another opportunity to bash and target other Black folks we don't like? Well, I care about them. And I care about the fact that the Biden administration, which I did not vote for, is, it's just completely like, forget those Black people. I mean, they say that to the Black people over here in America, but, everybody is really silent about it, right? But I bet you more Black people have something to say about the Afghans than they did the Haitians. I bet you. Nicole, how you doing? We say, hey, Demetra and Donovan. And Jeremy, how you doing? He says the Haitians and Hispanics are being separated in Del Rio. Haitians are held up and sent back. The Hispanics are sent to Dilley. I hope I said that right. Texas.
and real quick, now we got to get to the comments. But have you guys noticed? Did anybody notice this? Maybe I'm the only one. Demetra, did you notice this? The Latinos that were like, we got to get these niggas up out of here. Did you notice that? The mayor, the Latino mayor, all the Latinos were like, we got to get these people out of here. They're here illegally. We got to get
Border Patrol spokesman, he's Hispanic as well. I did notice that. Yes, I did.
Yeah, all these Hispanic leaders are like, we got to get these niggers out of here.
And Armand, how you doing? Long time no see. He said, man, let's talk about the Democratic Party flying them black folks out, shaking my head. Well, we can talk about it at the booth, and I'll go for them. Martin says, did Major, my grandmother's sister was from Haiti, I think you're trying to say, during the early 1900s, early 1920s, when whites took over, they started calling it Haiti and called it San Dominican. Many born around the 1920s speak multiple. Okay. And Jacqueline, how you doing? He says, greetings, Demetra and Donovan. And Thunder says, where is it that Black and Brown Alliance? I don't see any Latinos fighting to help keep the Haitians here. When we speak, we must say black and black only.
Exactly.
All right. So let's see here. And Arma says, F the Democratic Party. They ain't no different than the Republicans when it comes to black agenda. Yep. Robin says, I remember that wall that Trump wanted that everybody said was so racist. Well, now they're finishing it. Can't have these Haitians showing up, shaking my head. And King of No says, we don't need reasons to call out bad behavior. I'm with you. And Armin says, Demetra Kaye, you were right all along about Biden and Harris. I stand corrected. Yes, brother, you was giving me the business.
but see, the good thing about it though, is he's one of the few Biden supporters that said he has been educated. You know what I mean? So I got to give you big respect for that.
Big ups to that. And Moni says, many speak multiple languages, never had to be taught in school. My grandparents speak French fluently, patois, along with other languages. My grandmother was born in San Martinique. And Laughingstock, how you doing? You says, Representative Jackson Lee is Jamaican. Her parents immigrated and settled in Jamaica, Queens. Okay. Robin says, I've noticed that. And Frankie says, race separation is the only way. And Thunder says, every time the Dems have an agenda, they always include immigration with the black agenda. How does immigration help black community when the black immigrants are sent back? Good point. Chief Indian, how you doing? He says, global African supremacy. Okay. And Moni says, so my grandmother was raised in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, but was born in French Islands. I really dislike how the Americans had their hand in it and refused to offer assistance, but you help Hispanics always. And Frank says,
wait. So Moni, basically, if we ever did get reparations, you won't be getting any. You won't be getting a check.
And Frank says, I could be great with an all-black society if I don't have to see another race. Never will be good. Okay. And Sunlight, you say Afro-Latinos included crickets on Haiti. Yes, indeed. All right. So anyway, y'all, I've read all the comments in regards to Haiti, and I will read them as we go along. And Thunder says, hold the vote, hold the vote, hold the vote. Yes, absolutely. I co-sign that. And so I want to transition to our real topic. And the question that I posed earlier was, have mothers set unrealistic expectations for their sons? And now I saw this here on Facebook. It was in some group, a man-only black man group. I don't know what it was. I don't know how I'm in it. But anyway, I saw it, and it says too many men are used to seeing their moms do it all and think their women should too. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the rip, I don't really have an opinion on this, but I kind of wanted to talk this out and see what conclusion we can draw from that. Too many men are used to seeing their mothers do it all and think their woman should too. Now, if I had to extract anything from it, it might be that, I could think of a couple of things, right? And the first thing that comes to mind is maybe their mom was a single mom, right? Now, when I say single mom, I always try to make the difference between a single mom and a single woman. Single mom is a mom who's truly raising children by herself and no help of the father at all. A single woman can have children and the father is involved. It doesn't make her a single mom, right?
Right. And don't forget the widowed mother.
Well, she counts too. But when I say single mom, I mean in true sense of a single mom, that she has no help from the father raising the child. And so I can extract that. Maybe that's what it means. Maybe their mom, they're used to watching their moms who are true single mothers doing it all, if you will. And then when the sons get out and grow up into the world and they take on a wife or a girlfriend or what have you, then they have the same expectations of their girlfriends. And then I think we also should define what all means, because that is very ambiguous as to what all actually is, right? Does all mean doing all of the housework? Does it mean taking care of all the finances? Like, what is all, right? And as you guys may have seen in my thumbnail, I tried to put a Superwoman with an afro, but most of her got cut off. But I think you guys got the point. So also when I think of it, I think of a superwoman, right? A super mom, somebody who does it all. She does the housework. She takes care of the kids. She goes to work. She pays the bills and all of that. And so when I saw this post, I kind of just drew a negative connotation from it, and that maybe men, now again, this was in the men's group. This was not a woman's group. This was a men's group. Maybe they're thinking that men are being crippled to some degree. They're not being taught necessary things. And, I don't know. You guys tell me. So I'm going to get to you guys' comments after Donovan gives his opinion.
Well, here's my opinion, because, that's kind of funny. I was in a group and somebody had asked, and I think Janelle, she was in the group too, if this man made $35,000 or he was making $60,000 and the woman was making like $30,000 or something. Combined, it came up to $90,000, but they had $1,700 in rent. And the question was, should the man have the woman pay half? I said, absolutely not. I mean, combined, that's $90,000. Number one, they should be married. You shouldn't be living in with somebody if you ain't married. But if you're going to do that, why should a woman pay half the rent if she's with this dude? So I think it kind of goes in the parallel with that. Some people will agree with it. Some people won't. But I don't think a man, if you can't afford a woman, then you just can't afford her. What kind of lifestyle are you living when you can't afford $1,700 in rent? And that's what was my thing on the post. But as far as moms and stuff, exactly. I think there is an issue when, okay, you're raised how you're raised. And if you don't know, you don't know. A quick answer to this is this. Ladies, and I put this on the ladies, you guys should be the ones setting the standard of how you should be treated. If you want to go out there and be working 40, 80 hours a week and doing all that and putting no expectations on your man, then, I'm sorry for you, but that's on you. But because like I said, that guy doesn't know any better. So, if I was a woman, there's no way I would be paying for a damn thing in the house. And I would know my role and what I need to do in regards to being a woman, and not taking away from that man. Everybody has a role to do. And, and that's what I'm saying. I believe feminism has broken that border. So now you sisters are running around pissed off because you think you have to do these things because feminism tells you have to do it when you really don't have to do it at all.
All right, y'all. So I'm going to get to you all's comments. And let's see here. And Moni says, so my grandmother was raised. Okay, I read that already. Let's see. Frank says, I could be. Wait, did I read that one? Yeah, I did read that. Okay,
You're
so
at, the Pioneer.
I'm at Harold. Harold, how you doing? He says, Black first. Yes, indeed. And the Pioneer says, I agree. Where is the Latino community on this? Chief Indian says, our money is gold. Where are gold at? We putting them in the pawn shops where they trade them in for gold and stuff. They set those gold. We buy back gold in our neighborhoods. Frank says, some but not all. And Morning says, there's a such thing as reaping what you have sown. All from the Black Caucus is dying out slowly but surely. And the rest that are standard will leave in time. Okay. And Frank says, not all Black men were raised in single parent homes. Yeah, I didn't say that they were. I'm just, I was just throwing some theories out there for me reading this. Now, I never can tell the real intention of the person who wrote it, but, we can speculate nevertheless. And Pioneer says it's very complex subject. We need the full 2 hours on this one, sis. You better give Donovan the go ahead and take this to 8 p.m. No. Or 8:30 East Coast time. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, Pioneer, you're cutting to my Dallas Cowboy time.
We might be able to pick this up next week for sure, but I don't know about that one. Let's see here. All right. Okay, so I'm starting to get back up here. No, I'm not. Let's see. Damn, where did my comments go?
Frank Nitty, black girl are pushed to success while the black boy has to stick it out and find his way in life.
Oh, got it.
And Pioneer says, correct. I had great parents. J. Joe 4040, that's true, but let's be real. The women like sleeping with in their 20s are guys just like the post describes. That's who is getting the majority of the single moms pregnant. Okay.
Okay. So wait, let me see. It says that's true, but let's be real. The women like sleeping with in their 20s are guys just like the post describes. That's who is getting the majority of single moms pregnant. Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of goes to the notion of women like, men who ain't about nothing. You know, like the men with the swag and, all that. I mean, I don't know. I think, I was in my 20s once. It was like yesterday. I was in my 20s. And I wasn't always responsible with the choices I made as far as dating. So I would concede that when you're 20, you're looking for a good time, but then you end up getting pregnant. It's like, yeah, that good time has to stop. At least for me, it did. Anyway, Marnie says, so what I would like to ask Donovan, how are you enjoying a new bill for black people that if one calls the police on falsely, they get to go to jail and have to pay $5,000 fine by Democrat governor?
Yeah, that's a fairly new bill. Like I said, I think you've asked me that before, and I haven't experienced yet, but I'll let you know when I see something like that going on in California. I doubt it though.
All right. And J. Joe at 44, you say it's not doctors, lawyers, engineers, or even truckers that are making these single moms. It's the Pookie and Ray couch surfers doing it. Yeah, I mean, and that's a whole other conversation as far as women needing to raise their standards in regards to the men they're deciding to make children with. Because I know while it takes two people to tangle, the decision is really all on the mother to, the woman, I guess, to bring forth that life. And I'm not advocating abortion on that. I'm just saying in general. And, you have a choice who you sleep with. And that, of course, that goes for the men, too. There's a lot of men. I've heard a lot of men say, I chose the wrong baby mama. So, yeah, I mean, it kind of goes both ways. You need to, as they say, look deep before you leap, before you make such a decision.
Let me ask you a question. Well, what about the single moms that let the boyfriend who's homeless move in with with her daughter?
Well, I don't know about all that. Yeah, well,
a lot of that going on. It's like, well, if the boy was kicked out by his family, why would you let him into your family?
Well, that kind of happens when you become friends with your kids instead of continuing to be parents. I mean, unfortunately, it does go on, but I don't suggest it. And Jeremy says this is a true statement. I know a couple that the husband has been kicked out by the wife due to a lack of male help, all cutting grass, working, watching the kids, fighting over the mirror. Now, come on now. And Pioneer says, I think one of the problems, going back to what we talked about on Tuesday, dealing with the DR, this society doesn't force men to man up, quote unquote, and be strong and independent. So many remain undeveloped. I think that's a great ideology as far as being underdeveloped. But let's talk about it in just a few. Let me read these comments. Amanda says, to meet you already saying, since you didn't vote for Biden, understandable, you did vote for Trump. No, did not. Because it seems like you really pull hard for him to be reelected. I'm just wondering. No, I did not vote for Trump. I did not vote for Biden. And the thing I think we need to understand too is not voting for the Republicans or the Democrats is a choice. That's still a choice. They don't believe the hype that you got to vote for one or the other. I did not vote. And I've said that many times that I did not vote for Trump. If I did, I would tell you, I ain't got a lie to kick it. King of No says, based on what? Because my father worked 2 and 3 jobs. I've been in the military for 16 years, married 16, and my wife does not do anything. I teach my daughters and sons to have standards. Yeah, and I think you said that, hit that on the head. We need to teach our kids to have standards, right? Pioneer says we also have to accept the fact that a lot of women don't want a man to support them financially. Many just want a man for sexual pleasure and home protection, and that's it. Well, you know what? I read another post really quick, Pioneer, that kind of backs up what you said, is that back in the day, women needed men. Women needed men to survive, you know, to pay the bills and all of that, to mow the grass. But now women don't. Women are making just as much money as men, if not more. And so the need, you know, I'm saying the technical need for men is kind of like, well, you know, but yeah, we probably are in one of the first generations, or starting to create a generation or two, where women are saying, I don't need a man. Like, I can do this by myself, right? I'm not one of them, by the way. I'm just putting that out there. And Moni says, I'm still on the fact that even if they want to bring more foreigners, if none of these people are going to take the abuse that we have been going through for 635 years, let's be clear. No, they're not going to do that. Frank says this era, let's see here. I'm going to try to catch up on these comments, so because I see you guys are making comments. And
this era makes it to where men have to put in all the work for women and holds women to a higher standard than themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not going to disagree with that, because I'm not all women. There's a lot of women who just have no standards at all. You know, it's funny because I was scrolling on Facebook yesterday and somebody had a reunion party. They were the class of 1980, right? So I'm the class of 1989. So that's roughly 9 years, maybe 10 years older than me, right? And in one of these pictures, there was a lady, and listen, I'm not shading anybody with wigs. It was a lady with a blonde wig all the way down past her booty with a cat suit on. And she turned around with her booty facing the camera. And I'm like, Grandma, surely you could have found another pose, and you showed up to the reunion in a hoochie mama cat suit. It's like, and it just, what it said to me is, some people just will never evolve.
Well, Demetra, remember we went to the Metro reunion? What did we see? Chicks getting in their 1992 outfit.
They at the club though, right? So anyway, Donna, how you doing? I already said how you doing. How you doing again anyway? He says, biggest mistake women make is that they do wife duties and they are not wives. Agree with Donovan, set the bar first. That's a good point. And Antoine, how you doing? He says, hello, Queen Demetra, brother Donovan in the room. And Sunlight says, agreed, 100%. Too many young Black men are being taught to clean their sneakers and brush their 360 waves instead of something useful like how to change a tire. Yeah.
How to change oil. Do you know how many women would benefit if they had their boyfriends who are riding around in their damn cars change the oil on a regular basis?
Right. And Thunder says most of the time he has not seen what a man role is, and if he does, the media and Tyler Perry always show him in a negative light. And this is, if it goes unchecked, will mentally and emotionally destroy him. Good point. Donna says talk about responsibilities and expectations first. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do once you got horizontal and then maybe you got a baby with that person, right? And Pioneer says Minister Farrakhan used to teach that black men in America are robbed and spoiled. Many Black men don't know how to stand up and be men because they don't have to. White men run most of the society. Excellent point, and he's right. He's absolutely right. And King of No says, well, it's funny. We want men, but appalling. I think he meant, okay, I said I'm reading wrong. Applauding Little Nas X and demonizing masculinity. Yeah, that is going on, unfortunately. And you also say certain Black folks anyway. Yes, indeed. And it's a lot. I'm gonna say who it is. There's a lot of Black women out there. Ooh, I just love him. And I'm not saying he should be hated, but it's like y'all the same Black women too that are saying no good Black men out there. I can't find a man. Where the men at? Well, you applaud them running around in dresses. And that's all I'm gonna say about that for not trying to get in trouble here. And Mona says in Southwest Detroit, Demetra, you see Border Patrol constantly now. When you demand for them to get up out your country, they want to picket and boycott, but they don't want you in their country. Makes sense. Make it make sense. Yes, indeed. The Sunlight says, did anyone ever verify the stats on that supposed percentage of bombs getting the women pregnant? Serious question. So she's saying, is it just bombs or is it dudes who ain't bombs that's getting women pregnant and not really fulfilling their duties, right?
There's a lot of brothers down here in the DR, and I'm very sure, they're men of means out here doing what they do. And there's a lot of mixed babies here.
The Pioneer says a lot of dudes in the manosphere are adding to the confusion because they are spreading misinformation and unrealistic expectations. I agree. I always say it's the equivalent of men watching porn and expecting their women to be jumping off of chandeliers, right? And Randy, if I didn't already say hello, he says, hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. No, you're right on time. Pioneer says a lot of brothers now are all over social media holding meetings and talking for hours, complaining about not being treated like kings and royalty with no talk about their responsibility in exchange. You know what? I'm glad you men are saying that and not women. Moni says, so, there we go. It says, so the minute they don't want to talk about that poke, this is when they killed that Haitian president, and that was an awful young man just really getting off to a good start, and sad just as well will prevail, I think he said. And Thunder says, what they teach the boys is do everything she tells you to do and don't challenge her. And if you can take it, if you can't take care of it, you're a bad man. Yeah. So if I think what you're saying is, you're saying there's a lot of beta males being produced into society that are not equipped to be in a relationship. And I say that too all the time. There's a lot of beta males that if they are lucky to get a traditional woman, as they are saying, he doesn't know how to deal with her, right? I always give you all that analogy of Coming to America when she's hopping on one foot, whatever you like, you know, and he's like, you know. So anyway, and Moni, you say, never forget your place with Mr. Trump. He does not care for black women. Let's be totally clear. No matter how you speak in his behalf, he wouldn't give me or you a hat. Let that no place to stay. Never. Well,
I have to disagree. It's known fact that he knocked off what's her name, Marigold or whatever her name is, the black chick.
Yeah,
obvious. He was knocking out on the side. At least he tried it.
Yeah. I mean, we're arguing over who's the better master at this point, I think. Pioneer says another problem is many of our people are selfish and narrow-minded. They figure if they aren't having a particular problem, then there is no problem. So they'll argue that it doesn't even exist. Good points. And Frankie said blonde weaves and wigs are no go for me. I don't get a blonde toupee. Stop it. You can get one. Let's see how you look with a blonde toupee. Herbert, how you doing? He says, Hubert, I'm sorry. He says, good evening, family. Good evening to you as well. And Moni says, if a mother takes care of a household, making sure it's clean, adequate meals are being prepared while the children are little, nothing wrong with it, but a man should be taught how to cook as well as clean. I agree with that. Brotham, how you doing? He says, hello, everybody. Black first. Yes, indeed. Pioneer says, sis, today's show is a great example of how a black man tries to help and the black woman don't let me. As soon as Donovan steps in to give you a break and help you save your voice, you start reading again. I'm sorry. I just want to just catch up a little bit, if that's okay with you guys. And the King of No says, gotta have masculine men around to teach the boys how to change everything. Just saying. I agree with you on that one. And Mona says, men nowadays is being feminized and made more to be feminine instead of being a man. I see more that are disrespectful to women, but yet when it comes to a man, it's a whole different character. Leather and luxury cars. How you doing? And TJ, you say 100. Sunlight says there's black women who are engaging in feminizing black men. I mean, I agree with you on that one. And Jeremy says, when I was going to church myself and a couple of other men tried to get the boys and younger men together to cut grass, plant flowers, build wheelchair ramps, and other things that could have become trades and hustles, we got a lot of pushback from mothers and grandmothers. That, yeah, see, what happened to the days when the grandpas and the daddies be like, Glow the Jean, I'm gonna need you to go sit down. Men are handling the boys. You need to go sit down somewhere, right? But a lot of these women, my mama used to call them hard-headed Hannahs. You can't say nothing to them. I don't let me have that boy out there. It's too hot, and then you know he ain't good for nothing. And he try to go get in a relationship. Then he like, well, you know, Glow the Jean and them didn't make me do it. So, the Pioneer says, poor Donovan probably doesn't know where I stand. First, it seems like I'm riding with the brothers. Next, it seems like I'm caping with the sisters laugh out loud. The fact is, I try to tell the truth in balance. Well, yeah, you got to do it in balance, right? Nothing is absolute. I don't think so, right? And Moni, you say, Donovan, I agree with you totally. The people should be married, so many are not living God's purpose and is shacking rather with their boyfriend or their girlfriend, which is a fornication. If you're looking at an aspect, I think in April, how you doing? You said, what's up, my peeps? Moni said, Donovan, you'd be surprised as a lot of people refuse to pay $1,700 in rent, $1,500 in rent. If you don't have it, you just don't have it. I think they need to stay in their lane. You know what? I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to mention his name. And then I'm going to hand this over to Donovan after I get to all these comments, okay? Not going to mention his name. We call him Voldemort on this show. But he made a good point in saying that nowadays it's hard for everybody. And it's hard, especially for Black people. And he said that Black people, couples need to, stay together, for lack of better words, and share the responsibilities. I mean, listen, I'm looking for a place to stay as we speak. And I've seen $1,600 apartments, 2-bedroom, 1 bath in Texas. I'm not talking about California, New York. I'm talking about in Texas. So the point that I'm making is you are better together, right? When you can save your money. Why get out there and struggle and pay astronomical rents and mortgages when you don't need to? Because that's what everybody else does. They put their money together and say, let's build something, let's buy something, let's not struggle. And so I agree with him in that respect. All right, let me keep it pushing. Randy said, Mr. Donovan, if you were in charge, how would you reset all this mess? Donovan, hold that really quick. Hold that real quick. Let me get to this, and then you're going to take over. And then you also asked Donovan, did anyone listen to the B1 broadcast from the Black Authority? Check it out. Thunder says, if a man only makes 50,000 401k and has a home, a car, and can travel, someone will say he can't take care of me. What more do you need? What kind of lifestyle are you living now where this is not enough? Good point. And Michelle Mays, how you doing? He says, salute to brother Ben X and the chat. Brother, keep bringing your positive, uplifting energy to our community, especially, I think she's on the wrong chat. I wish brother Ben X was on this chat. That would be totally dope, right? But how you doing anyway? Robin says, I listened to this video last night, Donovan. I love me some the Black Authority. And the Pioneer says, the fact is, I'm a brother who prefers intelligent, righteous Black men to lead the community with assistance of intelligent and righteous Black women, but too many foolish men want to be in charge. Wow. I want to say, Donovan, if you're paying $1,700 a month in rent, that comes to be a little over $20,000 a year, and that's cool for a person that's single. Maybe they can do that for a while, but I say stack your money up real quick. Yes, Clifford, how you doing? It says, I may be old-fashioned, but a man needs a job and be able to use his hands because he should have something to offer a woman. Good point. Yes, the Pioneer, the Glow the Jean. He says, damn, that's a name from way back in the day. You probably don't have to tell Glow the Jean to sit back because she was probably somebody's wife during Reconstruction. Laugh out loud. Yes, indeed. All right, Donna, take it over from Frank.
All right, Frank, we mad selfish. That's what Frank says. Anita Howard says, the prices are high as hell here in Arizona. Moni says, I wouldn't know how come y'all can't go to 8:30 p.m. at build up your fan base. Some of that stuff can't be rushed off. Donovan, please tell me what you think about the governor got reelected. Let me get back to the one about the question about what would I do to reset this. I would not even try to reset it. The situation that we're in, what I would cut the damn check for Black people, and that would take care of everything. A lot of the problems that we have within our community is we're at the bottom and we do not have the resources or the finances to do what it is the other groups are doing. And make it real quick, a big example in this. Feminism has also told Black women to shun which keeps your children. You don't have that other adult parent holding a job to support the children. And I'm not saying in all cases, but if you know where I'm going with that. Like Demetra said, if we would stay together like other groups, our children would not be raised in poverty as a whole. So Jeremy has awakened, says the men shouldn't give up so easily. Some women aren't used to having help. If it's true mothers are harder on the girls than the boys, then our future girlfriends' wives will be independent for years. And they are. That's what's actually happening. Pioneer says, sis, I understand what you're saying about staying together to save money, but I personally prefer a society where a man or a woman can afford to live independently to avoid abusive relationships. Absolutely. If it comes to that point, everybody should have a choice. But when the choice does come for you to come together, 1 + 1 is supposed to equal 2, not 1. You know, what's wrong with that?
And let me just interject really quick. I mean, yeah, I don't advocate anybody staying in an abusive relationship at all. I don't care what it's for.
That's right. So stop voting for the Democratic Party.
Right. No, I'm just saying in general, you know, like Donovan says, you know, 1 + 1 is 2. You know, two can go further. That's an African proverb, right? 1 can go far, but 2 can go, I don't know, something. Anyway.
Right. And Thunder says, and they teach the boys that the verbal abuse from a Black woman is something you have to put up with. And if you can't or won't, you're a weak Black man. Reverse this, and he is an abusive man, and she is his victim. Absolutely. Absolutely on that. The Pioneer says, Brother Ben X is in the chat. Very intelligent young brother. I hope he is. Hopefully he is. Frank Nitty says, Thunder, that's true. Moni says, I was always conscientious with the type of man that I dated. I've had some that was really about the paper and it was a bad boy. And then I've had some that was intelligent, well-educated, but were cheap. But see, what's the point of cheap? Is he being cheap or he's being thrifty? Demetra will tell you exactly that I think I would be considered thrifty. I just don't throw my money away. But when it's time to pate, Donovan pates.
And let me say this, yeah, Donovan is very frugal. I actually am surrounded by a lot of frugal men. And to me, now this is just me, ladies, there's nothing more sexier than a man that's frugal with his money. I don't want to be with a man who's throwing his money away on ridiculous things. And, you know, speaking of Farrakhan did say that, you know, as women, if you got a man who's working hard and he's bringing in a little bit of money, don't be a fool by putting unrealistic demands on him. By trying to tell him he needs to go buy you this and go get into all this debt. Work with him. Be a good steward over the money. But nah, I mean, and don't be one of those women that, you know, have unrealistic expectations on a man. You know what your man is bringing in. Don't ask him to do ridiculous stuff with the money. Be happy that there's a roof over your head. There's food in the refrigerator. You got lights on. You got running water, like the basics, right? But don't drive your man into poverty because you ignorant. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. You know, and let me add to that real quick. If more of our people would travel abroad and see how people are living, go to Soweto. Those people are living in basically boxes, but they're living. You know what I mean? They're living. And you got to understand that. So what do you got there? Oh, okay. Antoine, thank you for becoming a member. Great. The Pioneer says, Brother Don, you speak of them cutting the checks for reparation, but let's be real. Do you think most of our people are mature enough to properly receive reparations? I'll give you a better example, Pioneer. We just got stimulus checks, right? A lot of people just wasted them. Who are we to tell them what to do with their checks? Because not all of us are going to do the wrong thing with them, right? So we have to get out of the mentality of telling people and counting their money. We need to worry about our money, you know? So Moni says, what makes it bad, Demetra, is when you have a woman that doesn't have no more than a basic education, like a high school diploma or one basic skill, and she started having a bunch of illegitimate kids. Well, maybe that's her skill. I'm just saying, there's some women that's their skill. Yeah. Frank Nitty says, damn. Moni says, then you'll go on Amori's show and don't know who the baby father is when you should have been smart enough to have that man to marry you first and become educated and yourself up in front. Let's be clear. Yeah, but, you know, you got some free-for-alls out here. These people are having parties and, you know, what do you call that? Hotel parties. And the girl goes in there and they're having a good time. And she comes out of there. She don't know who the daddy is. So, let me see, it jumped up there. We've got our new member. Okay.
You're at the Pioneer, which says I've heard both of you say before.
Yeah, I've heard both of you say before, just cut the check and let each of us decide what we want to do with our money individually. However, with so many fools in the community, imagine the destruction. But also imagine if you're a person like yourself, Pioneer, who's a critical thinker, and a person like myself, I'm going to clean up. When I get back to the States, and when those evictions things start, I'm going to be getting all kinds of properties. And, what I'm saying is you can't save the majority. Maybe we can't do it. But the ones of us that are going to be able to take our money and do the positive things with it, those are the people that are going to have to make the money. It's just going to have to be that way. It's just going to have to be that way. Money says, so a lot of women will get in an attitude in a Black community when you say to them, if you follow it God's way, you become educated first. Find a good man that's interested in you, that's also educated in security. Tanaya Smith says, hey, Demetra and Donovan, happy Sunday. The Biden administration will be deporting the Haitians starting Tuesday. That's right. And the Biden administration is using the excuse of they've got to use the fourth immigration law or rule. No, they don't. Do not be fooled by what these guys keep telling you about immigration. They don't have to. There is no certain thing that they do. If you illegally come into the country, they don't need to abide by any law to deport your ass. Just remember that. And Antoine became a new member again. Antoine Irvin, thank you for becoming a member. Donna Black, I like the term physically responsible. Yes. The Pioneer says, I believe you two can definitely handle your reparations money properly and invest it and make it parlay. But with so many of these Negroes, the weed dispensaries will be cleared out in 4 days tops. And unfortunately, it's got to be that way. I mean, we cannot sit there and tell somebody how to spend their money. If they are eligible for a reparations check, it is what it is. I mean, I know we would like to tell people, hey, let's go do this together, but not everybody needs education. And see, that's the problem, Pioneer. White people will come to you and say, oh, we're going to set you guys up for 20 years. Demetra has an education. I have an education. So how's that going to benefit me? The only thing you can do is cut the check, and that's it, and let the chips fall where they lie. Sean says facts. Frank Nitty says laughing at the Pioneer. And Terry Quinn says, I agree. A man is throwing his money everywhere and flushing it down the toilet at the strip club. Like the rapper tells me he doesn't value being comfortable. He doesn't plan for the future. Wow, that's truth right there. Thunder says, both do their part. Let's see, there it is. There we go. Both do their part if you bring 60% and he brings 40%. If you look at this individually, it's an imbalance, but if you put it together, it is 100% work together and don't compete with each other. Okay, yeah. And you could do it that way. I mean, whatever works in your situation, make it work. That's all I really would have to say. But I could say in my situation, ain't no woman going to be taking my manhood. I'm going to play my role and my position, and that's it. That's it. And Frank says he agrees with Terry. And gosh, these things keep jumping. Getting there. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Wait. Yeah, Pioneer. I agree. Okay. There it is right there. Any woman, facts, not feelings. Any woman who loves a man throwing money is a woman who will leave once the money throwing stops. Yes, she will leave as soon as the money stops. And there's a lot of women, especially these younger girls out there that do that. Sunlight. Yes, most of us are. Terry Quinn, most of our people would waste it, but it is their money that they are entitled to it and are free to spend it as they see fit, including wasting it. They will suffer the consequences as well, right? Once that check is cut, we have nothing else to point. But until we get our money, we need to still be fighting for it. Exactly. Facts over feelings, true. And that's Frank Nitty. Robin Cooper says, what people do with their reparation checks is their business. That's what white supremacy talking points keep saying stuff like that. Yeah, they're saying, well, we don't know who's this. And, oh, if we do this, it'll be thrown out of it. Wait a minute. Wait. We're talking about throwing money away? We just threw away $6 trillion in Afghanistan and nobody blinks an eye. $6 trillion of your tax dollars that they could have gone toward reparations for Black people. $6 trillion gone. Nobody says a word. Frank says independence for a woman is good, but if she has an independence, I don't need a man mentality. She's done. And unfortunately, a lot of these young women have bought into that. And again, they don't have a man either. Notice that they've got baby daddies, but they ain't got no man. Pioneer, Brother Don, I actually agree with you. Some women are skilled at sex and others are very fertile and skilled at having babies. Let's be real, not every woman, just like not every man is royalty. Right, exactly. I'll give you a quick story. My dad's mother, she had 26 live births. Out of the 26, I think 22 lived. And my dad being one of those two. So she was having a baby every other year from the time she was 14. She was very good at her job. Frank says Robin Cooper.
Same dad though, right?
No. Has she passed?
No, same dad.
Yeah, same dad. Yeah. Moni says, at the end of the day, to meet you, if I haven't seen anything, I've seen that you must, as a woman, be prepared to take care of yourself if you don't have family to help you with that child. 180% harder. You're absolutely right. And that's another thing here. I've been in the DR. I haven't seen any homeless people here because their culture dictates that they take care of their family members. You know what I mean? As poor as these people might be compared to the United States, there's no homeless people here. Thunder says, if they cut the check, look at it like a brick of Coke. Some will party with it and some will repackage it for retail. Yeah, exactly. Some of us will do the right thing with it. Jeremy has awakened. Then I would say, if a woman calls you weak or abusive, no matter how you carry yourself, take the responsible man and she will come around, right? Robin says, it has already been proven in a study that paying back Black people reparations will help the economy. Exactly. Everybody will benefit from it. Exactly. And unfortunately, as we already do, 1.3 trillion,
1.3 trillion dollars.
Yeah, that we throw away anyway. It doesn't go back into the Black community. Where does it go? It goes into the white community and the Asian community and the Afghan community and the Haitian community. It doesn't go into our community. So what's the difference? Tanaya says the weed dispensers. She's laughing. The Pioneer, deporting Haitians starting Tuesday. I heard they were starting today. Yeah, as a matter of fact, they've reported that over 200,000 of them have been moved to deportation centers and processed already. So I hope it's not true, and I hope they have at least a couple more days, if not weeks or months. Yeah, and I believe from my military,
2,000.
Yeah, 2,000. Yeah, that's what it means, 2,000. Yeah, and from some of my military friends and my friends that are on the border, they are moving in forcible removal like they did in the homeless in Venice Beach. So they're going to be removing these people at gunpoint if there's any resistance. Sunlight says, all it takes is a few. That's why they won't give it. Exactly. Frank Nitty says, Robin Cooper, I think that's another reason why they don't want to give it. Exactly. And Moni says, it comes back to taking your time, get to know a person. You do not have to rush. It also comes down to common sense. If you do not have a master's, a minimum of a bachelor's degree or several skilled trades. Okay. We're getting there. Keeps jumping.
Yeah, broke them.
Where's it at? Oh, yeah, there he is.
Time is now. Black. We must continue to strive and to struggle against these corrupt, bigoted systems.
Yeah. Did anybody see? I put something on my Facebook page where it said that we don't want white people to give us an apology for their, for white supremacy. We want them to dismantle the white supremacy system that they continue to benefit off of. That's what we want. Frank says, sunlight, true. Pioneer, first of all, let's not set unrealistic expectations for some of these brothers ourselves. Some of these brothers are only good for making children and keeping the race going, not too much else. And Randy C., good to see Miss Demetra is feeling much better. Good to see you, Randy. By the way, Sunlight says, I don't see anyone auditing how the so-called natives spend all the money we give. They claim they're still destitute. Crickets. That's a good point. And Robinette, Frank, it could be, but a study was conducted a few years ago here in North Carolina related to reparations, right? Just a study. Jonelle Muhammad, good evening, my brother. Peace Queen, Brother Don, and family, and the Queen, of course. And Frank Nitty here in California, too. Tanaya Smith at the Pioneer. Pioneer, how are Are you, sir, been working a lot? Okay, you guys just talking to each other. Moni says, Demetra, I have a cousin that is 36. He's a twin and he refused to finish high school along with his twin sister. Now he just works on average job doing forklift and every time tell him to go back to school. Now, let me ask you this, Moni. Since when the hell, I was going to curse, when the hell does a minor have a choice in a Black person's home to tell their parent if they're going to stay in school and if they're not going to stay in school?
They're 36.
Yeah, he's 36 now, but why did he drop out? How could he have not dropped out in high school? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, there's no way I could have gone to my mother and said, well, you know what, Mom, I don't like school, so I'm just going to drop out. You know what? She would have said, okay, that's fine. And you're also going to be dead too. Done. Because what can I offer to society without a basic education? So now, Moni, your cousin is feeling the effects of a decision that he was too immature to make. Where were the adults? Frank Nitty says, even now, Gavin Newsom, gruesome, couldn't give it to us, and Cape for the Mexicans. Exactly. And the Pioneer, I know it's their money, but you aren't free to be a fool around me. Yes, I know. We are owed reparations and we'll get them, but I don't want our money and investments wasted on a bunch of dope smoking juveniles, right? Sunlight says, wasteful spending is only a topic when we are concerned. Exactly. Why is it that when it's Black money, oh, well, they treat us as if we're just little infantile children that need to be guided, and that's the same narrative the slave master used to use, right? Didn't he used to use that?
Can I give y'all the dirty truth?
Right.
A lot of us are that way, which is why we're in the situation we're in. I mean, we got to be honest, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, remember in Glory, they even said that. Remember when they were going to fire the town in the movie Glory? And the guy was explaining, they're just like children. You got to direct them and tell them what to do. But you're right, Demetra. I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. Terry Quinn says, I think people don't understand what they're saying. They don't need a man. I'm independent and don't technically need an intimate partner to survive, but I have many men who help me day by day. Yeah, exactly. Pioneer says, Brother Don, you know, a lot of our ancestors had a lot of children and they said the infant mortality rate was higher, but those who did survive were much stronger and healthier than many children today. Exactly. And then back in our parents' day and before them, you wanted many children because a lot of our ancestors were sharecroppers after slavery. So you're building in, your people to help you in the fields. At least that's how it was.
And they didn't have a diet of top ramen and hot Cheetos.
Right. Because in my family, that was the case. A lot of them were sharecroppers and they had to do that, have big families. My mom's oldest of 12, Franklin says, everyone, okay, you're talking to her. Terry says, this country is so committed to white supremacy that they are okay with losing billions to make making reparations to us. Exactly. They rather throw that money out of the way and use that as an excuse to why they have to be physically responsible all of a sudden. And let's see, lost that. Okay, here we go. Moni, my cousin has a 3-year-old and feels that he's doing great, but he doesn't make $100,000. So that makes him trash, too stupid to know to get an education first. So we'll never talk again. Well, then, you gotta look at it like this, Moni, though, too. Jeff Bezos ain't got no damn college education. Bill Gates ain't got no college education. You don't need.
Let me just say this. Mm-hmm. I want to reread that comment. My cousin has a 3-year-old and feels that he is doing great, but he doesn't make $100,000 a year. So that makes him trash, too stupid to know to get an education first. So we'll never talk again. Well, I mean, I know a lot of people making well over $100,000. I know millionaires and they ain't shit. So I don't think we should ever try to equate money to making a person somebody, right? But to say that he's trash because he doesn't make $100,000 a year, well, that would make a whole lot of Black men trash. Because the average Black man ain't making $100,000 plus a year. I think it's about 40-ish.
Yeah, between the 40 and 30,000.
So you're throwing away a whole bunch of good Black men behind, I think, I don't know what ideology that comes from, but I think we should be clear about that.
Yeah, and then you got to also remember, Moni, if that's what makes him happy and gets up every day working a regular job. There was an episode of Married with Children. You guys remember that episode where he had to return that library book, and the librarian thought he was a loser and stuff. And he said a great quote, and it applies to all men, black, white, Mexican, whatever. For the mere fact that we did not become sports stars and Michael Jordans and rock stars and doing the things we want to do, the mere fact that we are working a job that we hate 40 hours plus a week makes us winners, for the simple fact that we haven't put a gun to our mouths and pulled the trigger. We're winners. And, so anybody that's doing that, if he's happy doing that, we should applaud him, because he's got a job and he's taking care of his kids with what he's working with. Pioneer says, I think the most effective thing to do is for intelligent and righteous Black people to unite and get reparations, and we stand a better chance of getting them than just standing around hoping for them. You're absolutely right. We got to elect the right people in the office. Frank Nitty is with you. And the Pioneer says, man, that situation going on down at the border with the poor Haitian people is so sad and tragic. I'd rather not even hear about it if I can't do anything about it, right? As an FBA fundamental Black American woman, I'm not fighting for anyone else but my very own FBA people. We fight for everyone and are always left behind. Be one first. Hey, I'm with you on that one.
And that was Asada, by the way.
Yeah, Asada G Ash, Asada G Ash, G Ash.
Ashe.
Yeah, Ashe. Okay. Janelle says, nowadays, some women desire the pleasure and not the results. Thus, why abortion is booming. Sad to say, some women are anti-life and dread reproduction, which why some prefer lesbianism. Now, Demetra, remember we were talking about the abortion issue right now in Texas, right? The Democrats are like, oh, everything's pro-choice and da-da-da-da-da. And how many of you guys realize that they have estimated that since Roe versus Wade has taken place in the Black community alone, they are estimating since the 1970s, there has been over 19 million Black babies that have been aborted by Planned Parenthood in that aspect. So sometimes you got to look at some of this legislation that's going on and would it benefit us or would it not benefit us? It seems to me a party, again, the Democratic Party, caping for something that is really detrimental. Please explain to me in 60 years why our population numbers have not basically moved. Everybody else's has. So Marcus, that if you guys are joining us on the other side of the conversation, please do so. Frank Nitty says, double standard, the complexion for the protection is what the Afghans and Mexicans have, right? They are the buffer class that they're bringing in. And Terry talking to Frank Nitty, Clifford Possible, I like that, Clifford Possible. We are perpetual slaves and don't have any right that they have to respect. Exactly, the Dred Scott decision is still in effect. The Democrats have everything to do to repeal all of these laws and get rid of all these things in the books, and yet they do absolutely nothing. They say money in politics is the biggest problem and the biggest threat to democracy, and yet they have done nothing about Citizens United. And Biden has been sitting on his hands for almost 4 months. Nothing has gone across his desk. The Pioneer says, exactly, sis. Many of our people are infant-minded and are too silly to manage their money properly. Give them fools a reparation check, and it'll make every Korean and Arab millionaires overnight. Yep. Wow. Robin says, wow, just wow. Terry Quinn says, I was irritated with the college isn't for everyone. We know that. However, there are many ways to middle class without college. A lazy excuse is because some just don't want to do anything, right? And that's taught versus learned. Marcus says, well, we must realize when it comes to reparations that there is two heads to this monster. One, they don't want to pay us because they hate us. And the other is they don't want to pay us because they need to keep us in the role of servants and a punching bag with an overwhelming need to abuse. And so, but here's my question, Marcus. If we know we are in an abusive relationship, why do we continually support our abuser? So we got that one going there. So let's take a look at here. And Jafia is with us. Hello, Demetra and Donovan. Demetra, I truly hope you are feeling better today. Terry Quinn says, I would like for us to file a class action lawsuit against the state governments and work our way around the country. I don't know how to start that. I'm looking though. Yeah, please do. And let us know what's going on with that. Pioneer says, no, sir, don't put these fools in charge of the reparations process. Tell them dope smoking knuckleheads to go to a temporary service and put in an application if they need some quick cash. Pioneer, have you ever wondered, like when we go to these young men and you say, it's 4 o'clock, you're just now getting up to look for a job? Jafia says, I don't believe that there were anywhere near as many Black abortions as reported. They are not concerned about Black abortions. Their concern is to ensure that white women don't abort. Well, you know what? A lot of white women get abortions at their regular doctor's clinic. That's where they go because they have health care and all that other stuff. But actually, Jafia, I'm gonna have to disagree with you because I think the numbers are actually more than that. How do you justify in 60 years, in 1960, the Black population was about 13% of the population. Right now, it's about 14. That's 60 years later. So something's going on.
Well, let me jump into it. So abortion play a big role in that. Of course, there's a whole lot of other things, mass incarceration. You know, I'll just say as nice as I can, the feminization of Black men. And, you know, so there's a lot of the homicides that go on in our community. But there has been more Black babies aborted than people died or killed in the Vietnam War. So it's a lot of Black babies.
And Leo's son, hey, Leo, if I didn't say hi, wow, an estimated 19 million Black babies lost from abortions. I had no idea. Yeah, and you got to also remember, you know, we as parents, especially like these old folks like Demetra here, we have to stop putting in our daughters' heads that, oh, if you have a baby and you're not ready, your life is destroyed. You know, because we keep telling them that. And so, when, you know, if they do get in a situation, what do you think the first thing they're going to do to not disappoint their parents or grandparents or whatever? Why do you think the Democrats and the Republicans they make these legislations where you could be a minor and go get an abortion and don't have to tell your parents? We have to reevaluate what we're telling our young girls and our young people because everybody's entitled to a mistake. Hey, that doesn't mean run and go and, you know, having a baby before your time is not going to destroy your life. It's really not. Terry Quinn says the reason the Texas law was allowed to go through is white folks don't usually use Planned Parenthood for abortions. They go to their OBGYNs and get voluntary interruptions of pregnancy, duration and curative. Exactly. Jonelle Muhammad says, right, Donovan, they know the revolution is birth. They fear our children. They feel the children of great destiny coming from the Black womb. Exactly. And there's a lot of us that have come here from the great Black womb, and we're not living up to our great destiny.
And don't forget the eugenics program. The eugenics program was designed to destroy Black people, Black babies, and all of that. So I just was kind of wanted to piggyback on or go back to Jafia's point of saying that they're not concerned with Black babies. No, they're not concerned with the welfare of Black babies, but they are concerned with Black babies multiplying and browning, making the planet more brown, if you will. Right. Even though it already is, right?
Right. And just think of all these Haitians. If you let all those Haitians come in on immigration, notice Hispanics could come here for years before they even get a court case and then, you know, have babies with other people and stuff. It takes years. But the minute the Negroes get here, 20,000 Negroes, they got to go immediately. They don't want them staying here. None of that. And that's a big voting block. I mean, you know, if they stay in Texas, that would be a significant voting block of Black people in that area. The Pioneer says, Brother Don, great observation about our population percentage not moving in decades. The deportation of Haitians is an example of how they're keeping it that way. Exactly. They do. It's all about power. They don't want us to multiply our numbers. C. Ruffin says, well, it might make them millionaires in a few hours. Shit, my damn head. Terry says they have more procedures than any demographic, which caused them to have more deaths than born. That law wasn't for our benefit, but theirs, right? If you're paying all your bills, and Thunder says this, have health, vision, dental insurance, a retirement plan, and some money left over to enjoy life, and you don't make 100K or anywhere near that, believe me, you're winning. Exactly. Exactly. King of Now. I hope I said that right. I had a long conversation with my family about not voting Dixiecrat and Republican. They tried the "we died to vote" mind trap, but it did not go well for them when I pulled up the history. Good job. And that's the thing. People get discouraged. You don't want that confrontation. Believe it or not, if you have that discussion, it's in the back of their brain, because guess what? King of Now, where are the Biden supporters now? They told you all this thing that Biden was going to do, and he's a changed man, whatever. His actions haven't shown that. I mean, they can't defend it. So now they've gone under a rock. Black people should start demanding reparations from their local government and work our way up. There are many ways city governments can give reparations to us, and we have more leverage locally. Absolutely, Sunlight, but the World Court has already said the only way you can pay reparations is monetarily. There's no other way to do it. We found out that reparations program they had in Illinois, that wasn't reparations, that was a housing program. The one they started in Georgia, that wasn't reparations, that was a housing program. It can only be a monetary compensation. So Moni says, to meet you because I do astrology. I once read a woman years before she had her last 2 children and told her in the summer, you can't take care of the 2 you got. Why would you dare want more? Well, accidents happen, and sometimes you're in the right place at the wrong time. So let's catch caught up on these things here. Let me get up here.
Let me help you out there. Marcus, he said, Donovan, we continue to support our views and are out of habit, and they will unwillingness to do something different. We are people that do what we're told, not what we want. There are many of us who think they have it pretty good as long as they don't take a wrong turn. I think in Arkansas or AR, a misstep in the presence of their master indoctrination is real. And Randy say, did y'all know the Mexican government is stopping trucks and buses to immigrants on them to reach the border? Of course. And Clifford, you say, we are punch drunk. We love to take a beating. Moni says, so we wound up being in the newspaper. Everything I predicted was going to happen. And one child unfortunately died because mother let lowlife beat her to death. Had she aborted it, it would have avoided with down. Jonelle, you said, Queen Demetra, Kaye, you look like you're feeling better. All praises due to Allah. Yes, I am feeling much better. I appreciate you guys. Defiant says, eugenics had a lot to do with the lack of increase in the Black community. Also, there are a lot of Black people who claim something else. Very true. Pioneer says, Brother Don, many of these young cats don't even know how to look for a job. I saw a bunch of young brothers the other day wearing neckties with T-shirts and polo shirts. Ugh. Jacqueline says, our reparations will not be received by our community until after our father returns, period. Okay. Leo, son, how you doing? He says, really, I wish abortions weren't necessary. Sex ed, access to health care, affordable child care, and housing and living wages would remove many of the barriers that drive women to get abortion. Yes, that's
I really do wish a lot of you women would take your sons and go sit in family court for one day and show them what happens to them for 15 minutes of pleasure and not being responsible. I did that to my sons. I'm not a grandfather until this day.
I heard that, brother. Moni says, speaking of mixed children, to meet you, I think he meant Demetra. He says, I've seen some ads being popped up on Brother Phil Scott's wife is Caucasian, amazing. And I thought that they said he was Indian, but they're saying that she's not. Well, just know this. There's a lot of people out there who have nothing better to do but talk about other people. Just remember this. Little people talk about small things, but big people, and I know I'm jacking that up, talk about ideas and moving the ball, right? We don't want to get caught up into the lives of what people are doing personally behind their closed doors. Let's talk about moving the ball for Black people, because regardless of who's dating who, who's in the bed with who, who's married to who, Black people are in the worst condition ever on the planet. If we've ever been, we're in the worst condition than anybody else on this planet. And I always say this, Moni, when somebody comes to you with who's with who, ask them, great, what are you doing with your Black wife or your Black husband to move the ball for Black people? Because you got to be more than just Black. Being just Black does not help Black people. Being Black and doing something for Black people, that's what helps Black people. Now, regardless of who Brother Phil is with, Brother Phil has built a conglomerate of media entity with over 1 million subscribers where people can get information from all over the globe, information that you would not get from ABC, NBC, CBS, or any of those other news outlets. And so regardless of who he's with, let's be grateful and thankful that he is bringing us information that is helpful to us. Matter of fact, Brother Phil is the reason why you got a lot of y'all are here with me today. So I say let's focus on what people are doing instead of who they doing. Y'all like that? I like it. All right. So the Pioneer says, I saw a bunch of young brothers in t-shirts and neckties and asked them, I saw that already. You know, it says, was that the new style? They said, no, they're looking for work and was told they were supposed to wear a shirt and tie. Sad. And Sunlight says, oops. You say, Donovan, correct, Donovan Sadiq, having a baby with the wrong man is what hinders a woman's life. Yes, Simone says, so in the summary, people many times will say that they're from the Black community when in fact they date and sleep with others that is non-Black and have nothing to do with Blacks ever. Well, I hope I answered that question. The Leo Sun says, right, they're very concerned about the browning of America. Yep, and Jonelle says they're watching the real Black guns and its ammo to the root. Pioneer says there are teenagers from around the world who never been in the U.S. before, but knows you're supposed to wear a button-up dress shirt with a tie. To see so many dumb young men is disheartening. Yeah, where they daddies at? Jafari says in 1960, the Black population was 18.8 million. Now it's 46.8 million. But if you look at the time span, and statistically speaking, and I suck at statistics, we should be way more population. Asians were 2 to 3% back then. They are now 8%, and we are roughly 13 to 14%. So they have caught us or catching up to us rather quickly. So what are they doing that we're not doing? Right.
And I'm a statistics guy. That statistic, but you keep forgetting in that number because you used the whole number. The white folks increased. Everybody increased. So we're still, of the total population, we're still at 13 and 14%. You can have, let's say we're 6 million then, and we're 100 million now. If everybody in the population increased, and we're still 13 million or 13% of that population, do you guys see how that works? I manipulated the number?
Right. And Jonelle says the nation can't afford separation from Black people, and it can't afford to keep a nation of Black people. So its solution is depopulation rather than losing power. The Pope, yes, indeed. And Leo Sun says this last election was so hard for me. I take my responsibility seriously. Didn't want Trump/Pence or Biden, Kamala. Neither party cares about Black people apart from our vote and underclass position. Pioneer says, how can we expect men who are too stupid to even dress properly to build a healthy society and maintain a family? Too many simply don't have the intellectual capability we need to regroup and start over. I would say this to you, Pioneer. You won't tell us your age, but I can tell. I'm good at reading between the lines. I could tell by your age you are a gentleman of some age, because you're like, if you can't even dress appropriately for any situation, then how can you lead, right? So I'm starting to pinpoint how old you are.
Oh, wait. He's in our age bracket. I mean, somewhere near, if not, a couple years older. He's in that age bracket. But also, Pioneer, think about this. How many times have you been to Walmart and the mother's there, the boy's pants is completely down, and the mother says absolutely nothing?
Well, they shouldn't even left the house like that, let alone, their daddy should have, done something about that as well.
And by the way, some girls here run around in public with bonnets on their head.
Sunlight said, well, Monique needs to get on her message. And Sunlight said, so if the city gives free business license, rent-free use of land and buildings to Black only, that's not reparations. It's reparations to some degree. And Frank says, interesting that women can think as a man. I think a man is trash for working a regular job, but don't think a generational genocide through abortions are trash. Interesting. Oh, right. Boy.
Real quick. Yeah. Sunlight, that's a form of reparation in some point. But again, I'm not a business person. I don't want to open a business. So how would I get my reparations? You're denying me my reparations because you're making it something that I don't want. So it has to be monetary, but that is a form of reparation. I'm not saying it's not.
Moni says, Jafia, couldn't agree. Okay, so y'all talking. And Leo Son says, right on, Donovan. An hour observing in my family court is great birth control for boys and girls. And Robin says, Phil Scott is putting in the work. I don't need to know who he's with. And that's what all I'm saying. Pioneer says, laugh out loud. Y'all know I'm trolling y'all a little bit on the reparation issue. If we have an opportunity to get a check, I'm on board 100%. But seriously, I don't think we should be prepared. We be prepared for it.
Right. No, Pioneer's playing the like
I get it. That was
advocacy thing. He's making the conversation go on both sides.
Got it. And Marcus, you say, I don't know how much good it will do considering we have been on this platform trying to school Negro for quite some time now. I think we actually even started when Obama was still in office, if I'm correct. I declare it's time to change the conversation to simply unite like-minded individuals on physical and financial freedom outside of the time bomb we call America. I agree with you. Anais, how you doing? If I didn't already, said Philip Scott is a blessing. Yes, he is. And Donovan says, Brother Phil Scott took Demetra because of her platform and joined her into his media. Yes, he did. He did wonderful things for me. I appreciate him. And Monty says, how is the vacation there? It seems beautiful, Donovan. Please put some film footage. I would love to see Dominican Republic. It looks relaxing.
Yeah, Moni, just go to my Facebook page. I've been putting pictures and video up the whole time I've been here. So just go to Donovan Sadiq.
Yep. And Terry said he's hired other Black people as well. Sometimes I don't agree with everything he says, but I'm still quite impressed with him. Yeah, he's got a Black-owned business. I mean, what else more do we want, right? And DM, how you doing? You said there's only one political issue for us, and that is reparations. It's our money, and we want it now. I know that's right. And Marcus says, in truth, it's embarrassing that we continue to have such profound discussions with little or no profound action. I know you both are tired, and I'm tired as well. My question is to the viewing audience, what next? Yes, a good question. And I said it's about Black first. I love my people. Absolutely. Morning said, Donovan, I would love to know in your travels with the different countries, what country is the most pleasant to Black people, that is most economical and is not overly hot? I would love to get your opinion.
Real quick, Moni, Black people are dark because we live in hot regions. That's why we are Black, and we're melanated because we live closer to where the hot environments are. So home country Africa, where everybody originated from, is probably the best likely place for a Black person to be, but everywhere else,
Yep, and Thunder says if and when they do cut the check, the first place you should go is to the gun store because there will be a lot of folks upset. You better believe it. Fly on the wall, how you doing? He says, I don't believe in the census. There is no way we can only be 13% of the population for the last 30 years, give or take, you know. And the Pioneer says, well, we can't complain about why the Black population in the U.S. is so low and bash Black immigrants and laugh at them being locked out at the same time. We want more Black people, bring them in. And Thunder says, and the white population number, including Latinos and Arabs. And I says, Pioneer is Generation X and Generation X. I think he's Generation X as well. And the Real LOC, how you doing? He says, these other groups isn't increasing. They are being imported. Good point. And Moni, it's a sad shame that we are now, it's a sad shame that we are now back like we were in slavery. You have to protect your boys as well as your girls because you got predators that love to prey upon them. Protect your children all day. And Jafai says Blacks from the other countries do not check Blacks on the census, and the many biracials don't either. They said with the biracial population, we're about 17%. And the Pioneer says, laugh out loud, Queen. I told you I'm between 40 and 60. I'm narrowing it down though. Says, but any Black man over 40 with good sense can understand what I'm saying. All they have to do is look at this generation and compare it to how he grew up. I agree with you. Thunder says, cut the damn check. Pioneer says, Brother Donovan, you peeped that out, huh? I'm keeping the argument going by adding balance to it. Frank says, we can't talk about who feels with, but praise and try to live vicariously through Meghan Markle. He says, wait. God dang it. Through
Marco.
Oh, okay. I see. I skipped up. Okay, sorry. Shit. Oh, okay. Hold on. Where did my Meghan Markle comment go? I swear it must have been.
Yeah. We can't talk about who feels with, but praise and try to live vicariously through Meghan Markle. Shake my head. Frank also says sunlight, exactly. Then it goes down to Moni. Demetra, I hope that you'll find a beautiful place. I think it might be time to come out of Texas and come to a better state, maybe like Atlanta for you. If you like that, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, and Chicago. She just got to Texas.
Got it. Okay, I see where. I don't know why I couldn't find it. Uh, I mean, you know, I'm in Texas for now. Texas is I have a lot of opportunities to grow and do other things. Ultimately, I am going to go back to California and buy me a mansion somewhere. I'm going to build it from the ground up. I'm speaking that into existence right now. So in the meantime, I'll work my ass off in Texas and, you know, go back to my roots in California. Climate says, I'm foundational Black American. However, I think too many FBAs and ADOS are using so-called pride in our community as an excuse to bash Black immigrants instead of helping them get in to increase our numbers and political power. I agree with you. And Thunder says, let's force their hand. Let's not vote Democratic for them all and show them we have united. Yes, indeed. And unified rather. And Frankie says, before they come to the U.S. and Mona says the pioneer. Okay, so you're talking to pioneer. Keziah, how you doing? He says, Shalom, royal family Black first. Yes, indeed. Sunlight says, who the hell is living through Meghan Markle? And Anna, he says, we need inward reparations, spread the wealth with our community. So I want to stop there at Sunlight. I'm not living through Meghan Markle. You know what? Can I keep it 100 with y'all? I'm not living through nobody but me. You know why? Because I don't care what nobody else is doing. I don't care who they doing. Who they screw, don't put food on my table. It ain't paying my light bills. I mean, I don't understand why we get caught up into the affairs of other people. I really don't. And as I always argue, I mean, there's Black people with Black people who ain't shit. There's Black people with other Black people who ain't gonna never do nothing to help Black people. But we want to talk about everybody else. Like to me, make it make sense. You can't just say I'm Black, therefore I'm in. I'm Black, and so I should just be able to do. No, you got to be Black and taking action, helping Black people. Like seriously, we get. This is the problem with us as Black people. We get too wrapped up into the low-hanging fruit in our society. You ain't Black enough. Oh, you too light. Used to be you too dark. And now it's you too light, it's you too this, you too that. But guess what? We as Black people too broke. We too ununified. We too everything you can think of. We too at the bottom of the totem pole. But we too busy in the bedroom of other folks. Why? Why? I beseech thee. Why are we that involved with who you people with? That's confusing to me. It is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird, right? I don't know. But then California tried to put up Larry Elders. Now, Larry Elders is truly a Black man with a white woman, and neither one of them like Black people, ain't doing nothing for Black people. In fact, that mug said that he wished slave owners, they should have gotten paid for losing their slaves. And if he was around in 1968, he would have made sure that the Black people didn't get no civil rights. He would have voted against it. But y'all let niggas, Negroes, I almost said the N-word. I caught it though. Y'all letting people like that fly under the radar. But this is what we do to good Black people in our community. We find one little thing and bam, we got YouTube videos. We got this. That's the same thing they did to Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey was helping Black people. And we got on board with the nonsense. They're like Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They tried to do it to him. They've been trying to do it to Farrakhan. And every Black, I'm talking about the real Black leaders. I ain't talking about these fake people who running around here. But every Black leader that we've had, they have done their damnedest to destroy them and the movement. And we get on board like we not. And this is another thing. And I'm going to have to go rest after this. But it is what it is. We as Black people aren't the critical thinkers we used to be. We allow them, whoever them are, y'all attach them to whoever you want. We let them throw us a bone and we jump on it like flies on shit. Ooh, did you hear it? Ooh, like we get so excited instead of saying, okay, wait a minute now. If I jump on the shit, as a fly, what is it really distracting me from? What's the things that I really need to be focused on as a Black person in Black America that's at the bottom of the damn totem pole? What should I really be using this energy on? Should I be talking about who's doing who? Is that really important in the larger scheme of things? Because I'm going to tell y'all one thing. All these people we talk about who they with, they going to be all right. But will you be all right? Have you built any sort of, platform where Black people could get together and have a conversation? Have you gone to the highways and the byways? Some of y'all Christians, some of y'all read the Bibles. Have y'all gone out there and fed Black people? I don't care if it was a sandwich. Have you done any of that? Have you donated to help Black people? Are you using your voice to help Black people? Or are you sitting up being a fly on a piece of shit and eating off of the fodder that they throw before us so we can be distracted? I swear for God, I wish we as Black people would just focus long enough to move the ball just a little bit. There's so many Black people watching football, rooting for their favorite team today. And by the way, your team won, for what I understand. Yes, rooting for their favorite team, but those Negroes are root harder for a white-owned NFL team than they will any Black people. How the hell you fix your mouth to hate on somebody like Phil Scott, but yet you sit up and root for those white people that own the NFL, that own all those Negroes, and will fire a Black man for taking the knee against the wholesale murder and brutality of Black people, but you won't shut them down. But you want to shut down Phil or anybody else who is helping Black people. It disgusts me to my core. Y'all want to shut down people who are actually doing stuff for Black people, but y'all let the Asians in our communities that's beating Black sisters' asses, y'all let them make it. The Arabs who will sell you rotten meat and milk in their store every day and won't give you a refund, y'all let them make it. And everybody else who come into the community and harm Black people. Y'all got police officers, not y'all got them, but they killing Black people every day. And we can't even get a damn bill passed to get rid of qualified immunity. You know why? Because they know we are focused on the shit. They know we would rather be flies. That's why. So anytime you want to get on that piece of shit, excuse me, I said I was going to stop cursing. I'm going to start over tomorrow. But anytime you feel like you want to hop on a piece of shit, ask yourself, what's it going to cost Black people if I stop focusing on the ball and I jump on the piece of shit? What is that going to gain me as a Black person? And what is that going to contribute to Black people when I jump on a piece of shit to try to take down Black people who are helping Black people? See, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm a Garveyite in the true sense. I get what Marcus Garvey was trying to do. But you know what? I also weep internally that man died penniless and without the nation he was trying to build, because we as Black people jumped on a piece of shit and took him down for $25 when he had 3 to 6 million Black people worldwide trying to do something. $25 took Marcus Garvey and the UNIA down, and we are still doing that today. When are we going to stop being the flies on the piece of shit? You know what shit is? Shit is what people put out of their bodies, and dogs put on lawns, and it smells horrible. It is the leftover garbage that comes out of your body. And that's what we as Black people do. We jump on the excrement that have no nutritional value, and we feed on that and try to make that, palatable to everybody else. It's shit for a reason. It's supposed to be discarded and never thought about again. So that's what we need to be thinking about as Black people. Am I going to jump on the shit Or am I going to jump on something that's productive? And I'm sorry, y'all, I got past y'all comments and I'm not going to be able to read them. But, you know, I tell you, it's just really sad how unfocused, and I'm not talking about anybody specifically on here. I'm just saying we are so unfocused as Black people, and it makes it hard. If, you know, I think about somebody like Phil. Phil is not a dumb man. You know what he could be doing with his life? But yet he takes the time out every day to have a platform for Black people to learn something that you ain't learning from them folks. But yet we want to talk about this man or anybody else that's helping Black people. I mean, Farrakhan, as long as he's been around, there's no reason why he should still be repeating the same stuff to us as Black people. We don't want the help. And I hate to say that, but I just don't think we want the help as Black people. We are so conditioned from slavery, and we just continue that. You see somebody Black doing good for Black people, and we dog them. But yet you got these raggedy ass politicians that's been in office, Black politicians for 20, 30, 40 years, and they did nothing for you, will not do anything for you, but you let them make it. You let them build $5 billion football stadiums in your neighborhood. The SoFi Stadium in Inglewood cost $5 billion, but the cost of gentrification is far more than that. When you move Black people out of a community they've been in for years, and now they have nowhere to go. They can't pay that rent for $3,000 for a one-bedroom apartment, but you let those people make it. You let the city council people make it. You let Maxine Waters and them make it, and they harm Black people every day. You let them lie to you every day. But you want to take down somebody who is legitimately helping you. Make it make sense. So y'all don't see me like this often, but I get tired. I get tired of having the same conversation about good Black people who may not be with other Black people, but they helping Black people. I know a lot of Negroes who are with white women and wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire and put your Black ass out as he skedaddles along with his white woman. But you got Black people who aren't perfect in your eyes helping you, and you trying to pull him down? Why? Kevin Samuels, I know we said we ain't gonna mention his name. I know that's unpopular to a lot of people. He got over 1 million followers on every platform. Is everything he say bad? No. But for the most part, he sits up and he dogs Black women, and y'all love his dirty designer draws for him doing that. He blew up overnight when he started dragging Black women through the mud. But that's the Black people y'all let make it. But somebody trying to help you, you don't let them make it. In fact, you make it your mission to help tear them down. I'm just disgusted. I'm disgusted. And I ain't gonna cry because I'm a G, but I do feel bad for us as Black people. For one, because we go through so much, but the stuff we go through is at our own hands. A lot of it. We don't want better. And so sometimes I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Sometimes I wonder if I'm wasting my time, if I'm wasting my Thursdays and my Fridays and my Sundays. You know, because before I started to do this, I was at Venice Beach when I was living in California every Sunday. I was at the drum circle, being a hippie, just doing what I was doing. But then I said, you know what? You meant to do more. And I started doing this. I started, educating myself because I didn't want to be on here, spewing just my opinions with no facts. I started to do the work. But if it's not going to be helpful, if we don't leave this platform and go spread the word and go help other people, and the other part that comes with this too is if you hear another Black person talking bad about somebody else Black, take them to task. Ask them why. We need to get out of the habit of talking about people and start talking to people. That's a crab mentality, to talk bad about people without talking to them first. So I know I went off on a tangent, and y'all won't see that from me very often, but we gotta normalize, really uplifting ourselves as Black people and stop the bullshit for real. So anyway, I see y'all comments. I ain't gonna be able to get to them. I'm gonna give it to Donovan before we get out of here.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to do, and and again, thank you for educating, because when you get upset like that a little bit, it kind of like brings home the message of what we're trying to do, and and some people need to hear that. That's the only way they're going to do it. It's just going like thing. But for you guys' information, I'm going to read some of these comments as we get ready to get out of here. I said, go to Demetra's YouTube page and you will see her defending Phil Scott. And that was the first time they encountered each other. There was an incident just like she just already described, and that's where Phil Scott kind of noticed her. And she got her start into the Phil Scott media empire. Herday Williams Jr. says, you speak the truth. Sunlight. I forgot what that symbol is. I'll look that up. And PD Chicago, B1, and Kitten Heels. Sunlight says, KS is a bleep. Kevin Samuels is a bleep. Okay, gotcha. Pioneer, this is why I've said over and over that intelligent and righteous Black folks need to unite and organize. Leave the fools behind with their pettiness, right? And Moni says, Donovan, how come you haven't thought about being a marijuana grower, so a lot of money in it, and you have military experience that you can open up a business doing that? Real quick answer to that. Number one, I know for a fact that I'm not a business person. Number two, I don't like to chase money like that. And number three, I fly airplanes and I don't want to be associated with anything that has to do with what the federal government calls drugs, even though marijuana is a class, whatever it is. The Thunder says these are the same people that if they were forced to spend with their own, they would rather set the money on fire than to see the community come up. These people will do us no good, right? And Anaya says, you're not wasting your time with us, Demetra. Jafia says, nice hat, Donovan. This is my campaign hat. Georgia Rose says 100. The Pioneer says, sis, you might be disgusted, but I'm not disgusted or surprised. I know how petty and silly so many of our people can be. When you already know this, you don't get too shocked about it. Thunder says, no, sister, don't you go anywhere. You are needed, and don't you stop doing what you are doing. For you guys that I might not know, Demetra's mother spoke her truth into existence, and now Demetra is doing exactly what her mother had told her she was going to do. Yeah, we made through. Thank you, Queen. You have a right and duty to express yourself in your queendom. And 01, that was good. You got my vote. Robin Cooper says, we love you, D. Moni says, Pioneer, have you gotten a chance to travel to Venezuela or Europe? I think that would be a wonderful place. It looks beautiful. Also, I would like to go to San Martinique. Pioneer says, thank you, Queen and King. Excellent show as usual. Brother Don, you did a great job helping. Keep up with the comments. Thank you. I'm going to get better. I'm just not used to doing it. Thunder says, why are we looking for perfection in an imperfect world? These are the people that don't want a damn thing. If you gave them a brick of gold, they will complain that it's too heavy. Right, exactly. Moni says, I love Donovan doing the commentating, speaking up like a real man, very handsome, intelligent, makes a lot of good sense. This is what being a well-rounded, handsome man looks like. I'm loving it. You know what? I actually think Demetra makes me do the comments so that I don't start going off. Because I go off on my show, I go off. So this is a way to keep me kind of down, you know. Demetra Kaye for president, and that's by Anita Howard. And that was the last of the comments, you guys. We've come to the end. We're a little early, but Dallas Cowboys are playing. I got to go see what's going on. We need a new owner and all that other good stuff. So, Demetra, what say you? How do you feel? Do you think you're going to be doing a show on coming up?
Yeah, so Thursday is the next show. I appreciate you guys so much for being here on this fine Sunday, the Demetra Kaye Show. YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. We could not and would not do this without you. Also, like to say thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything that you do behind the scenes and making the show go further on Facebook, and also to my co-host, my partner in crime, recovering Democrat, Donovan Sadiq, for everything that he does. And again, you guys, we have a PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo if you want to donate or become a member. Appreciate that as well. And join the Super Chat. And we appreciate you too, the Pioneer. So we will be back here on Thursday. You guys do have a great, safe week and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We love y'all and we will see y'all later. Peace.